Traditionally, Giotto was born in a farmhouse. Since 1850, a tower house in Colvespignano has a plaque claiming that as his birthplace. Recently, that viewpoint has been changed to believe that he was born in Florence. Although the year that he was born is not completely known, it is believed that he was born in July of 1266. Antonio Pucci, the town crier of Florence, wrote a poem to honor Giotto, in which it stated that he was 70 years old when he died on January 8, 1337. But it's argued that that was not his real age due to the fact that 70 just fits into the rhyme of the poem. Giotto was a shepherd boy and was a happy, intelligent child who was loved by all. His work was found by Florentine painter Cimabue, who was one of the most highly renowned painters of Tuscany. When Cimabue saw Giotto drawing his sheep on a rock, he took him on to be his apprentice. The Madonna enthroned is housed in the Uffizi Gallery of Florence, Italy. You will find this piece by Giotto on the first hall you come into on the second floor. This area is dedicated to Giotto and the 13th century. This piece has a traditional Christian subject of the Virgin Mary and the Christ child on her lap. They are surrounded by angels and saints. The medium is Tempera on Panel. It was painted for the Florentine church of Ognissanti, hence the traditional name Ognissanti Madonna. Before Giotto, painting was still tied down to the Byzantine style in its archaisms. The figures were often stiff, two-dimensional, and did not evoke any emotion within the viewer. Giotto broke with that tradition, revolutionizing painting and the representation of the human figure.
Giotto's style of painting is of figures which are solidly three-dimensional, and its characters have anatomy, faces, and gestures that are based on close observation. The figures are clothed not in swirling, formalized drapery, but in garments that hang naturally and have form and weight. Giotto's careful arrangement of the figures sets the paintings in such a way that the viewer appears to have a place and even involvement in many of his depicted scenes. An example of his style would be his piece called Adoration of the Magi. It depicts the birth of Jesus with the Magi admiring the newborn Savior under a streaking comet-like star. This artwork is in the Arena Chapel in Padua. In the painting, you can see his depiction of the human form and faces which hold emotion. Giotto was commissioned for work by very esteemed clients such as Cardinal Jacopo Stefaneschi, Bishop Teobaldo Pantano, and many more. Some of his work, as he got older, included chapels which he painted for a few different families around Florence. He painted the Bardi Chapel, which depicts the life of St. Francis. The Peruzzi Chapel, which depicts the life of St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist. The Gioni Chapel, which depicts stories of the apostles. And the Scrovegni Chapel. The Scrovegni Chapel, also called the Arena Chapel due to its being built on a Roman arena, was one of Giotto's most influential work. The job was commissioned by Enrico degli Scrovegni and is said to have been meant to atone for the sins of his father. The exterior of the chapel is a very plain, pink brick. The theme of the chapel is salvation, with an emphasis on the Virgin Mary as the chapel is dedicated to the Annunciation. The cycle is divided into 37 scenes, arranged around the lateral walls in 3 tiers, starting in the upper register with the story of Jehoiachim and Anna, the parents of the Virgin, and continuing with the story of Mary. The life of Jesus occupies 2 registers. The Last Judgment fills the entire pictorial space of the counterfacade.
Without Giotto, the cultural, philosophical, and artistic movement that we call the Renaissance would have never been born.
Giotto left his print on humanity through his introduction to the Renaissance. He is said to have influenced artists such as Michelangelo. He was featured in stories by Boccaccio and Sacchetti. He left behind him beautiful works of art for the rest of the world to admire.
Giotto started a movement that arguably changed our world.